out there, Indie Adam here. I'm with...
Hi, I'm Paige Cummings.
Now, for those that don't know, obviously you and I have worked together.
Yes.
Now twice.
Yes.
You're the lead of Ombis 2, Alien Awakening, which is coming out very soon. You not only are an actor, you do a dabble of the modeling here and there. You're not only a theatrical performer, okay? You're an artiste, I should say, to be exact.
Yeah.
And you are a jack of all trades. You sing too, right? You have to sing. No? Are we not singers?
I can do it if I must.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The first thing I want to say is, what started off your journey?
I am from a little town called Jamestown, New York, the birthplace of Lucille Ball.
Yes.
And at 5 years old, I was the most outgoing child you've ever met in your life.
Yes.
And my parents were like, we have to do something about this kid. And, you know, all my teachers were like, oh, she should do theater to get out that energy. And my dad was going on a bike ride, and he passed the Lucille Ball Little Theater of Jamestown.
Yes.
And they were doing a kids program in there where all the kids were in there singing and dancing, and my dad went in and was like, can my daughter do this? And they're like, sure. And then I grew up doing shows there. Did it my whole life from 5 to 18. And then I went off to college and got my BFA in classical acting.
Now, where'd you go to college?
Baldwin Wallace University in Ohio.
In Ohio, okay. Mm-hmm. Your journey took you further.
Yeah, right after school I moved to Los Angeles, and I was there for 3 years, doing the thing and stuff. And then
let me ask you about the thing and stuff.
Yeah, the
thing and stuff. Because how is the thing and stuff out there?
The thing and stuff is really hard. And not even just, you know, you find your people, you find a way to make art, just like you do here, but everything is so much more expensive, so much more difficult.
Yeah.
I was not able to, like, do a lot of things I wanted to do because I just had to work 8 jobs to afford my rent.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It was a difficult life out there, and it really wasn't doing exactly what I wanted to do. So when I came back to Buffalo, actually, there was a brief moment of time where I was like, I think my career is probably over. Like, this is just not going to happen for me.
Wow.
And then I booked a play within a week of coming back, Boeing. And
amazing performance. I could have saw that 12 more times.
Oh, thank you. And then the Hallmark movie. So obviously my career wasn't over. It was just
the Hallmark movie. We just gradually pushed that through. What is the Hallmark movie's name?
Newport Christmas.
And you'll probably be on every Christmas for the rest of your life.
I hope so.
You probably will. You probably will. Chloe Weiser Fisher.
Yeah.
She was on recently, and she was telling me about the importance of intimacy coordinators. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to her about when I started on IMDb, that wasn't even an option you could choose on it. It now is something you could actually choose. You don't have to go and, like, find it in, like, I don't know, other crew or whatever.
Right.
But anyways, the point I want to make is we talked a little bit about your strong belief in intimacy coordinators on set. And I just wanted to kind of, like, just gradually touch on that for a minute, why you feel they're so important.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there is the element of safety and the safety of everyone on the set, of making sure there is a person there advocating for the actor, for the director, for everyone, to make sure they all feel comfortable in this space. But it's also a comfort thing. Like, really, when you're choreographing an intimacy scene, it's almost like a dance. Mm-hmm. And the level of awkwardness should be taken out of it. It should be choreography to a point of where you're not feeling really emotions about it.
Yeah.
And I think an intimacy coordinator helps alleviate some of that awkwardness, so you feel less like, oh, I'm gonna have this big sex scene with this person, and more like, no, I'm just doing a dance. I'm performing choreography and going through this.
Through the motion.
Yes. Right. And just like in any scene where you're performing choreography or blocking, you're still acting and putting your feelings behind it, but you have specific blocking you can follow, and it's a little less up in the air. As a woman, I've been on lots of different sets where luckily I haven't had anything terrible happen to me.
I was going to say, have you ever had an incident where you were like,
I've had a lot of uncomfortable incidents, and in theater too. Especially.
Oh, in theater too?
Yeah. And nothing too terrible, but it really just goes to show that, like, one person advocating can make a difference, and maybe some of those things wouldn't have happened, you know?
Yeah, of
And
course.
I think just having someone there advocating for the voice of a lot of the people who are in these situations are young women who don't know how to tell someone no or
Yeah.
speak for themselves because they just really want to do a good job and, you know, impress the director or whoever, and they haven't been around long enough to know that it's okay to have boundaries and to speak your mind. So that's why I just think it's really important.
Well, I really value that same belief system. And I think that's why when we connected, I mean, not just because of that, of course, but we have similar thought processes on how a set should be handled and ran. And I think that's why we were able to work together. Because I'll be honest with you, because we're here on the cameras.
Yeah.
When I first messaged you, I did not think you were going to be interested in doing Ombis 2.
Oh, really?
I didn't think you even would respond to me. And for those that don't know, I actually messaged Paige, I believe it was on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong with that. But I did not think you would even have interest in doing that film. And the film was made because you were interested in doing the film. Think about that.
Yeah.
But there really is no question with that. It's just kind of a statement on like, and then, okay, I'm going to just jump into your journey a little bit, okay?
Sure.
Because now you're back in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like after you did Ombis, and this is, I think, because you moved back to Buffalo, you started doing a lot of local stuff.
Yeah.
And you got the Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
So how has life been different, LA versus Buffalo?
I mean, just a lot more bookings coming through. I mean, there is the idea of smaller pond, like, you know, so less people to choose from because you're just going from such a big market to a little bit of a smaller market. There's less people to choose from. I do think that having the experience of going and working in LA is what really helps me now, because I have the mentality of someone who has been a professional actor working in one of the biggest cities for it in the world. So coming back to it now, I still approach every audition and every project with the same mindset, even student films and things like that. I approach it with the same mindset that I had in LA, and I think that's what really helps me not get discouraged and not, you know, beat myself up too much when I don't book things, because, you know, it's all a numbers game.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you. Was how do you take rejection on something? I mean, obviously it's a job, so you can't take it too personal, but I'm sure there's a role that comes along and you're oh shit. You know?
There's been a few throughout my whole career that I've just been like, yeah, that's going to be the one that got away. But luckily I own my own production studio.
I was going to say, well,
transition so I just
into
write
that.
what I want and I do it. So I own my own production studio.
What is it called?
Sapphic Star Films.
And tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, it is a production studio focused on telling character-driven stories about queer joy. So instead of focusing on coming out stories about LGBTQ people or stories where, you know, getting abused or traumatic things are happening, we're focusing on happy things and things ending well for them, because a lot of times in media we do not see that.
Yes, that is the unfortunate truth. I got into a conversation with Eric Nicotera, and he was talking about how important mental health is.
Yeah.
He praised your work on The Palace.
Oh, yeah.
And he was talking about wanting to work with you again and all that. And I'm just, you know, now it seems like everybody is excited to work with you. And that's awesome. I'm glad you came back to Buffalo.
I'm glad I came back too. It's been really fulfilling personally and creatively, you know.
But it had to be a challenge because you were moving, like, from LA to Buffalo.
I mean, the good thing is that I'm from here. So,
well,
like,
yes.
I
and
did
you have family.
And I have family here.
That is very supportive of you. We love your family.
Yes. But you know, when I moved to LA, I did never see myself coming back, let alone living in my childhood home for 4 months while I was trying to figure stuff out. So that is
the best of us.
Yeah, so it happens, but, you know, I think it's just a story of, like, keep being kind, keep being a good person to work with, keep wanting to bring people around you, keep making cool shit, and, like, you know, stuff will happen.
Now, you are a director too.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about wanting to do that, because that's not always the easiest chair to sit in.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean...
I've always like been a natural leader, I think, in pretty much everything, and I have a lot of opinions, as you know. So I think that's what makes the best director, is having a lot of strong opinions about things and having a
Absolutely.
clear vision. So I directed 2 short films in college that were in a festival, and I loved doing that. And then when I was literally just heading out of LA, like 2 weeks before I ended up having to leave, I directed another short for a few friends, and we were on set for like, 8 hours, filmed the thing in a day, got it out there. It was super fun, just did it with my friends, whatever. And I ended up winning Best Director at Alternative International Film Festival in Toronto. So
Wow.
kind of after that, I was
Bravo.
like,
Bravo.
wait, maybe I'm kind of good at this.
Maybe.
And
Maybe.
I was like, okay, like I'd love to keep trying to do more. So then I wrote my next script, Forever Hold Your Peace.
Yes.
And I started Sapphic Star and said, we're going to do this. And my founder, Liv Billings, we kind of go back and forth, writing, directing, acting, doing it all. And we've just been having a great time. Our next film that I'm acting in and I wrote is coming out at the end of May. So
Okay.
yeah.
So have you learned a lot about the end of, I want to say the end of directing? Have you learned a lot about directing from an actor's point of view, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the best directors have a hand in acting as well, because it's really hard. Actors, the way that we're interpreting language and understanding things and trying to make, shape them and put it out in a way that is understandable to an audience, our brains work a little bit differently. And I think really having someone who understands the way actors are coming at things and coming up with a way to, approach them with a sense of kindness and, just humility and like, let's work on this together and see what we can figure out, instead of just, I've been on some sets, not yours, obviously.
Thank you. Viewer discretion.
Where the director would come up and be like, you need to be more sad. And I'm like, but why? Why am I more sad? Like, that's not in the script. Why am I more sad?
And the emotion doesn't feel like I need to be that sad.
Yeah, so, like, I can be more sad, but I can't do that without reasoning or impulse to do so,
Yeah.
And then they usually can't tell me, and I just am left with, all right, I guess I gotta figure this out on my own.
Well,
But
that's a mentality that is like been woven into the male DNA directors over the years. I bet you that was a male director that you're even talking about.
Yeah.
And I'll just say that. But
yeah.
But anyways, I continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, yeah, just pretty much that. Like, I love directing, and I love approaching things from a different point of view and getting to, write as well and share cool brainchilds that I have.
Did you learn anything, for like I was saying before about the actor's point of view? Did you learn anything that you didn't realize, like as an actor, that this is the type of level of dedication, or something maybe, I don't know, a problem that you never saw coming as an actor before?
Yeah, I mean, I think mostly I appreciated good directors. Like, as an actor now, I feel a little bit more grace for directors, because sometimes I'll be like, okay, we gotta get this done, and I want to get off set,
I'd like to go home tonight.
I'd like to go home tonight. But being on the other side of things, I think it's also interesting to see, like, yes, and at Sapphic Star, we try really hard to wrap everybody on time, and
you have schedules and all that?
Oh yeah,
okay,
we
good.
wrap everyone on time.
Good. Schedules are important.
Yes, schedules are. We stick to a very strict schedule. We wrap everyone on time, and try not to overwork or overuse anybody. But it makes you appreciate, like, oh, the director has a lot of other things going on besides just telling me what to act.
Yeah.
So. And I think when you're acting, you can kind of be like, get me out of here, man.
Yeah.
Like, what else is going on?
Yeah,
like,
you don't have to worry about everything.
Yeah.
It's
So, like,
about
the
you.
director is, like, trying to make sure the light looks good and the sound is coming through okay. Like, all the little stuff that you're not thinking about as an actor. So I think, like, just a greater appreciation for all aspects of filmmaking, definitely.
Yeah, truly. And it kind of brings us into the next thing that I've been, obviously, we worked on together,
Mhm.
which was Ombis 2, Alien
That's right.
Awakening. Paige Cummings, you play Haley Greenheart.
I do.
And man, there's a scene in the film, and I just want to briefly talk about it. A little bit of spoily, so you have your warning. But Paige, you carry a machine gun
I do.
and your co-star
Yes.
at the same time.
Okay, to be fair, that girl couldn't weigh more than 80 pounds.
Okay.
So she was very light. But
Angel Pratt
yeah.
very awesome actress
Yeah,
too.
she's great.
But that was something that you came up with, because that wasn't, I don't think, in the original script, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it actually came from which I think the best thing is do, like a problem we're trying to find a solution to.
Yes.
Because I think in the script I'm just supposed to be like supporting her on my shoulder.
Yeah.
But I'm 5'9" and Angel's like 5 foot, so I simply couldn't like support her on my shoulder because she was just way too short. I mean, she's on an apple box in every scene of Ombis.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so much taller than her. So we were like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna support her, and I was just like, I guess I'll just pick her up.
Yeah.
And yeah, worked.
Well, that was improvised, because I think you approached me and said, "Hey, could I just like walk, hold her and walk?" I'm like, "Can you do that?" I think I said that to you. I'm like, "Can you do that?" Because it was a long walk. Plus, there was that fabric you were walking on.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
And you had the machine gun, and then you had Angel. So there was a lot of things that you had to process all in the same time. But I look at that scene now, being like, that's a pretty badass scene, and that's woman empowerment right there, if I could say so myself. And that came from the brain of Paige Cummings.
That's right.
So when you see that in the movie,
yeah.
just know Paige said, "Hey Adam, what if I did this?" And I said, "Paige, we're doing that." So yeah, man, I really definitely think so talented you are.
Oh, thank you.
And everybody I talk with really speaks highly of you and wants to work with you. Like, I feel very privileged to have even worked with you on Horrific Evil Monsters. But then again, like I said, to come back and do Ombis 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then you moved back to Buffalo. And now we work kind of like on the outer circles of the same circles.
Yeah.
And people work with you. And it's just like, it's like seeing old alumni.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I'm glad that you like wanted to come here and just talk with me about everything.
Of course. Yeah.
We talked earlier about where your talent came from. Did any of your parents or maybe a teacher or somebody inspire you to want to become a creator and an artist like you are? Or was it just the love you always had?
I mean, like I said, I was a really outgoing child, and then they put me into theater to get me to calm down.
Right.
And I was in a very rigorous theater program with the teacher, and learned a lot from her. But I would really say the main thing that really helped me was my parents' and entire family's support. There was never once in my life where my parents were like, "I don't want to go see that stupid show," or "I don't want to go. I'm not going to help you do that." Mm-hmm. And even when I was like, "I'm going to be an actor," they were like, "Okay, like, how are we going to do that?" You know? So there was never a moment where they have not supported me in my dream of anything. And that, I think, even though they are not, I mean, my dad was in Oliver, the musical in high school.
Is that filmed somewhere? Is that on some good old VHS tape somewhere?
Yeah. Sorry,
8-track?
my partner is telling me, yes, he was also in Cats.
The musical. In Cats the musical?
We were in Cats the musical together at the Lucille Ball Little Theater.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, off-camera person.
Yeah. My publicist is telling me. So Cats the musical together, but the only reason he did any of the shows is because I was doing them. Yeah. So, and they would be like, "We need another guy," and so like he would do them, and like I said, just nothing but supportive. Same with my brother. He puts up a good front, but he was very supportive.
I don't think I've met your brother.
He came, probably not because you were running around, but he did pick me up on the last day of Ombis. Yes.
Oh well, I hope I see him at Ombis too.
I'm sure you will.
When you're on
lime
that
green
stage
suit.
with a lime green suit. You already told him this.
Oh yeah.
He already has the wardrobe requirement.
Oh yeah.
All right. What's one character, because you've played so many different characters, that you haven't played yet? In my opinion, you played a vast amount, or vast variety of character.
I don't know. I guess I don't think I've played a true villain.
Oh.
I don't think really.
I don't think people want to see Paige Cummings as a villain.
Well, Paige Cummings wants to be.
Oh, okay. Well, all right then.
I know, people have said that to me before. Is no one wants to see you like be mean.
Yeah, we want you to be like the hero.
Yeah,
save the day.
Like, have a little fun.
Okay.
It's just acting, guys. Yeah.
Get the blood blaster out over here.
It's just acting. But yeah, I mean, I've been privileged to play a lot of different characters. I mean, I think now I'm kind of split between two worlds where I'm playing this really almost like there's like the Ombis of it all and a few other characters that I've played that are really grounded and you know, emotionally exhausted and really, you know, intense with their emotions and kind of fly off the handle.
Yeah.
And then there's also the comedic side of my life where I play characters who are just really wacky and run into walls and are a little ditzy. So, I love playing those two characters, but I would say those are my two niches. And then somewhere in the middle is the Hallmark movie. So I don't know. I'm kind of all over the spectrum. No type, I guess.
I just will say, I honestly do hope, if that director or studio is watching, that you do another season or another episode, another thing of Boeing. I definitely could see, I mean, your performance in that was just amazing. And I wanted to come to the other one, and life happened. But I will say this, if your performance was as strong as it was in that one, I really, really envy not seeing it.
Yeah.
So you want to be a villain. Mm-hmm. Are you into superheroes?
I'm not opposed to superheroes. I really, my favorite genre of movie is like psychological horror.
What's your favorite movie?
Okay, Letterboxd top 4. And it's across the board, really random choices.
Okay.
Midsommar, Ari Aster.
Okay.
Which is like a...
Never heard of it.
What?
It's not on the wall. Please don't...
It's a psychological thriller about a cult in Sweden.
Oh.
And it's, classic cult story. Someone gets sacrificed at the end, but it's one of those movies similar to like Jennifer's Body or, Promising Young Woman where it's like, good for her.
Now, Jennifer's Body, very underrated, I should say,
yes.
By the way. But
that's close on my top 4, I'd say. It's up there. But Midsommar, Ari Aster, Jordan Peele's Us.
Us, really?
I love
it. It made it to the top 5? 4?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I actually have never seen Us.
Adam!
Okay. So at the time of recording this, future episodes, I will watch Us and we can be unjudged by it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I think that Lupita Nyong'o is like the actress that I
will
look
agree
up
with
to
you.
the most
Yes, she's
out
amazing.
of anything. Like,
she's amazing.
Her comedy is amazing, which is underrated, her comedy skills, as well as her dramatic acting. She's phenomenal in that movie, was robbed for not even just an Oscar win, an Oscar nomination. Wasn't even nominated for an Oscar. She played 2 roles.
Yes.
Come on. Ari Aster's Midsommar, Jordan Peele's Us, Legally Blonde, and Barbie, Princess and the Pauper. Animated classic.
You know what? It's interesting to say, or to hear a female actress, or an actress in general, I should say to me, a cartoon. I have never heard from an artist that a cartoon has made the top 4.
Well, I'm like, for me, like, there are movies that I'll watch for artistic inspiration or to get ideas for acting, for characters, for whatever. When I think of my top 4 movies, these are the movies that I want to actually watch and have a great time. And those are the top 4 movies for me.
Wow, that's interesting. When you're collaborating with somebody, what builds your trust with that collaborator?
I would say open. I mean, in general, kind of the answer to the question is collaboration in general. Like a person who can actually collaborate and can take notes and be like, hey, like, I don't think this is working the way it's working. Like, no one wants to work with someone who's like, this is my vision, and like, you like this is what you have to do, right? Because it's just like, you get in the room and sometimes that's just not gonna work. You know, it's not gonna be
I'm gonna throw a curveball at you.
Sure.
What is your favorite wardrobe to have ever worn in a film?
My favorite wardrobe?
Yeah.
In a film?
Yeah, like, do you have one? Or, well, any performance you've ever done. Because I know you do character acting too, don't you?
Yes, I do.
What are you most known for with the character acting?
Well,
Because you seem to do quite a bit of it.
yes, I mean, it pays the bills, so.
Oh, if it pays the bills.
Yeah, I would say Queen Elsa.
Oh.
She is she's not really my favorite, but she makes the most money.
Okay.
I'll give you that much.
All
Because everyone wants Queen Elsa at their birthday. My favorite little character to play would be Ariel, Little Mermaid.
I could see that.
She's my favorite princess. But I also love, again, doing the villains. Evil Queen from Snow White.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
Now that you're talking about it, yeah.
Yeah, so I love doing that. But my favorite costume, I mean, I loved I loved the costume I wore in Newport Christmas, the period accurate one.
Yes, I do know what you're talking about. The maroon one.
Oh, well, that one was...
Or is that a different one?
That's a different one, but that's a very special story as well, and that's I loved the period 1905 corseted, I looked like Mary Poppins, so that was really cool.
Yes, and I love Mary Poppins.
Yes.
I got both the films out there, everybody.
Well,
I got both of them.
He's seen them both.
I've seen them both.
But the maroon dress is very special because I was not supposed to wear that dress or in that dress until 10 minutes before we filmed that scene.
Really?
And in fact, the dress was built on me.
They were like, we need
minute.
you. And you were like, yes, here's this dress. Now put it on and try and figure it out.
Well, basically, there was a snafu with the script. They got a lot of moving parts going around. And basically, they're reading it. And I come in the last scene and, spoiler, but I saved the day, essentially.
Of course she does.
I give them an
Cummings.
envelope.
Yeah.
And they originally just had me coming in jeans and a sweater. And I had asked earlier, don't you think I'd be at the big Christmas ball? Mostly because I wanted to go to the Christmas ball.
Yeah.
But also,
You
my
get another scene
character,
time.
it's run by the charity that my character is the president of. So I was like, don't you think I should be there? And they were like, oh, no, you're just in jeans and a sweater. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I'm sitting and holding in my jeans and sweater. Everyone else is in ball gowns. And I just see, a few producers walk by and go, that's not really gonna work, is it? So then they're like, hey, she actually does need to be in a ball gown. And costumes, incredible costume designer Keith Costumes, he found a ball gown. It didn't fit me. So then they just constructed a corset on the back of it to make it fit me. At one point, they were sewing me into the dress. They were redoing my hair and makeup. Someone was covering my tattoo, all at the same time. And I was like, ah. And then I go down and immediately start shooting. It took, it was a whirlwind.
Wow, it does.
Yeah.
When you see it on film, it looks like they took care of you.
I know. It looks like they, it was all planned out.
Yeah,
but
you were in makeup for hours or something.
We had a very, very fortunate, luckily the costume team on Hallmark is so great that, fortunately, they just had this amazing ball gown in stock, so they were like, put her in it, and that was the one.
This is called the rapid fire questions.
Okay.
These are questions that you've never heard before. These are, well, you may have heard them, just not from me.
Sure.
All right, and they're designed to be one-worded answers.
Mm-hmm.
So, top 5 things, first things that comes to the brain. If you're ready, here we go. Acting or directing?
Acting.
Stage or screen?
Stage.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Safe choice or bold choice?
Bold choice.
Buffalo or LA?
Buffalo. I've got a bunch of things
Let's
on
hear
the
it,
horizon.
please.
So I was just in with Eric Nicotara, was just in the Palace.
Yes.
That's a spooky one too, so I'm excited for everyone to see that. And then Blessed Are the Unclean, which is the one that I've written. And I'm going to be directed by Liv Billings. I'm going to be in a reading of a new play, also written by Liv Billings, the co-founder of Sapphic Star, called The Binding Retreat.
Okay.
It's going to be a new play, the first time it's ever been done. We're going to be doing it at a bookstore over on Hurdle Ave at M&M's Bookstore. And then what's going to be taking up a majority of my summer is I'll be on the road with Shakespeare in the Park, in Delaware Park, doing...
Oh, I give you a lot of credit already for Shakespeare in the Park. But what are you doing? Yeah.
I am doing... the show is called Fools and Foes. It is a cabaret style show of the greatest villains and fools of Shakespeare.